Hi there guys, and welcome to this another episode of China How It Is. And today we're going to be talking about emergency services. Now, somebody asked me, one of my subscribers asked me, what if there's a problem and you need to get a hold of either police or get a hold of an ambulance or fire department, something like that? Good question. So I suppose let's start with the emergency number for the police. If there's any trouble and you need to get a hold of the police, you dial 110. And then nothing will happen because they can't speak English. So this is actual fact, and once I tried to call them myself when I was in trouble. I once got into a fight with a bunch of drunken people. Long story, mostly my fault. And basically what happened is I called them. Nobody could understand me in English, and with my limited Chinese I kind of managed to communicate with them, but it was a bit of a ball ache, to be honest. So calling the emergency service, the police anyway, is not going to help you very much unless you have a Chinese person nearby who can help you. Number two, if you want to call an ambulance, if you need to call an ambulance for an injury, if you've had an accident or someone's hurt, but once again, their English is pretty dreadful. In fact, during my training of the doctors for the universiade, I trained some of the emergency centers in Shenzhen, some of the hospital staff, and their English it's not great. In fact, pretty awful. Although in the emergency centers they supposedly should have someone, and occasionally you do have someone who can speak English quite well, don't count on it. Once again, you're going to have to make sure you have a Chinese person that can help you. Now, always good advice is to have a Chinese friend or somebody who you know well, or maybe an acquaintance or one of your suppliers, or anyone who can speak reasonable English. Have their phone number on hand, and they are the person you should call. So you should call them and ask them to call the emergency services for you, because you'll get the job done quicker, much quicker than if you try and call them yourself. Anyway, fire department, I believe, is 140. I could be wrong, so don't, rather Google it or something. I'll put it here once I've Googled it. But I do know that 120 is for an emergency ambulance, and 110 is for the police. So my advice is, quite honestly, when you find yourself in that situation where you need to get hold of an emergency service, phone your Chinese friend first, if they're not with you, and your Chinese friend will then phone the emergency services and tell them where you are, etc., etc. Unfortunately, the emergency services in China are not geared up for foreigners, so it's really difficult. If you can't speak Putonghua, I'd say there's probably an 80% chance that you're not going to get through to anyone who can speak English, at least not in a timely fashion. They might have to try and find someone who can, etc., and by then it's too late. So, rather call your Chinese friend. So that's my advice to you. If you're one of my subscribers and you're over here, of course, you could always give me a call. I do normally give my phone number out to subscribers that come to visit, so they can get a hold of me, so that we can meet up, etc. So feel free. And that's it, really. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to mention is I'm a firm believer that you should never drink and drive, but one beer is okay. And to all my Chinese viewers out there who are constantly moaning about the fact that I'm always filming while I'm drinking, and I have my bike here, etc., I like to put something to rest. I live really close by. If I drink more than a beer, I'll just push my bike back home. So don't worry about it. I don't drink and drive. 开车不喝酒，喝酒不开车。One thing that I can tell you is practical advice. If you are on the street and there's a crime happening. Somebody's trying to steal something from you or trying to attack you or whatever, for whatever reason, just shout at the top of your lungs, Jing Cha, Jing Cha, Jing Cha. This means police. And you should attract the attention of the police. Going to put the characters and how you pronounce it here on the screen for you. That's pretty good advice. So if you just scream police at the top of your lungs, it should, get you enough attention. People should be alerted and help you out. Being a foreigner usually means you will draw attention anyway. Could be good, could be bad. And the most valuable piece of advice that I can give you right now is, if you are in trouble in China, whatever you do, don't start swearing or name calling or trying to say anything bad about the person attacking you. Really, just try to escape the situation and call the police. Because if you start saying something along the lines of Chinese people suck, or you suck, or if you make it a Chinese versus foreigner thing, then the crowd's not going to help you. They're going to pile in and beat you up too. So just remember that. There is a big mob mentality here, and if it ever comes down to a Chinese versus Westerner situation, of course they're going to band together. So this is advice I'm giving you because it's happened to a couple of my friends where they've been in a situation where not their fault, but they're being harassed or in trouble or in a fight with Chinese people, and they start swearing at the Chinese person, saying you suck, or Chinese people suck, something like that. Then the crowd will start beating them up as well. So if you are in a bad situation, just call for the police and don't try to be an asshole and start telling people how much they suck or how much China sucks or anything like that, because that's the worst thing you can do. Anyway, that's it for this episode of China How It Is. I know it's brief. Hope you found it useful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in my next video. Cheers, guys. The whole basically all I want to say is that Chinese people are very nationalistic in general. Nationalist. In fact, to a very high degree. I know that a lot of countries are Americans, etc., very nationalist, too. However, if you say anything bad about China, you'll find that Chinese people take great exception to it, and they don't have an open mind about that sort of thing in general. So that's why it's never a good idea to start insulting a person for being Chinese or anything like that, because all you're going to do is incite this huge ultra-nationalism, and they're all going to gang up on you.